That's over. Are we live already? Yo.
You're live.
On Battlecode. Okay, I will stop saying random shit.
So I think there was some confusion in the Discord about what MIT time means. So that doesn't mean Eastern time. It means 5 minutes after the given time.
Yeah. So it's like every class would start like 5 minutes after the posted time and would end 5 minutes before the posted time. So if I say class from 1 to 2, it actually is like 1:05 to 1:55. So it gives us time to like move between classes. I think Berkeley has a similar thing, except it's like 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after the clock, and then it just ends like on the clock. So yeah, for the schools that don't have it, I don't know how you're supposed to run from one class to another.
All right. So today we're streaming the high school tournament and the Newbie tournament. So we're going to start with the high school tournament on Discord and possibly in the Twitch chat as well soon. You'll be able to find links to the challenge brackets. So for the high school tournament, we'll be starting on round 4, I believe, which is Coast versus Pies. Okay. So Coast, if I'm not mistaken, is the first seed.
This map is called Tiger, but it's actually made from cows. So if any of you guys have played with like the client's map editor, there's a brushstroke called cow. If you put it at like a large brushstroke size, and it's actually a cow. So I put it at like size 10, and I just threw it around. So now we officially know that tigers are cows.
Right. So that was a very quick win for our first seed. So we'll have to see what happens in the next game. Ooh. Pretty small map. Wonder. Okay, so Pies is taking a lead in the economy, but Coast just got a huge buff. And with that buff, he's also gained an economy. The team Coast has gained an economy lead. And the game. That's 2-0 to Coast. All right, we'll play this one a bit slower because the game seems to be going very fast. All right, again, a pretty small map. So it looks like round 4 of this tournament features a lot of small maps. I'm not sure what sort of teams those benefit. There don't seem to be as many rush teams this year as perhaps there have been in other games, or if rush is really even a proper strategy. But Coast sweeps this game 3-0. And indeed would have won the final 2 as well. All right, now we have Fandad versus IDRC in our second match of round 4. Wow, a lot of ECs in this map. Both teams start off with 3, and we have 6 up for grabs at the top. Both teams' muckrakers seem to have identified the ECs at the top, and their politicians, IDRC's politicians, seem to have swooped in, and IDRC is really taking hold of the ECs in the top. You can see in the bottom left that IDRC has basically swept all the ECs. Fandad holding on to just one EC and at a huge loss in influence. And now IDRC has taken every EC, and there's just one.
Alright, I believe this muckraker will not survive for too long. And there it goes.
Well, sometimes they do survive, and
Oh, wait, there's another one up there. Okay, well, that one's gone
there's
now.
one in the bottom right.
Okay, never mind, I'm blind.
Yeah, we can speed this one up. So yeah, but they do tend to survive for a long time. So there have often been proposals for different win conditions, like controlling all of the ECs Exactly
yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, Fanda didn't have much hope in that round, but
Yeah, you definitely need some form of income to continue have a fighting chance in the game.
IDRC again with a huge early EC lead on this small map. 8 ECs to 2. And yeah, this isn't looking good for Fandad. An interesting map.
I made this off of. It's based off of a plushie I have, a boba plush. Except the straw's supposed to be on one side, but I put it in the middle so we don't need two straws to keep the map symmetrical.
Neither theme bothering to vote, and IDRC again, establishing an early lead in the economy.
Like they were. I was gonna say they're like fairly even on ECs, except that is no longer true.
Yeah. All right, just one EC left of Fandads, and again, IDRC has really swept these maps. So yeah, rounds have only gone up to like 350. You have to wonder whether that's a consequence of IDRC strategy or also how small the maps have been. But in either case, IDRC wins that game comfortably. Now we have Java Ghost Hug versus Propaganda Machine. Right. Again, these one influence muckrakers are sort of converging on DECs. They've found them, and we can expect politicians to be sent upwards anytime now.
Wait, how big is this map? This one is like 64 by 64, if I remember right.
Yeah, this is 64 by 64. Okay, looks like Java Ghost Hug is the first to get to find that stash of ECs, controlling 5 of the 6. And that's translated into, along with all of these slanderers of Java Ghost Hugs, a huge advantage in income per turn. And this game looks like it will go to Java Ghost Hug. Eventually. Okay, again on Happy Boba.
My favorite map. It's really small though. Maybe I should have made it bigger.
Yeah, your maps have a theme of being quite small and with lots of neutral ECs. So I'm not sure how the Twitch chat feels about that. All right. At least I'm not sure which map Kerbals Rock is referring to, but apparently they're troll maps. Okay, Java Ghost Hug takes that game. Again, so yeah. And just one muckraker propaganda machine hanging out here. Java Ghost Hug doesn't seem to mind, securing 751 votes, which in a game of 1500 rounds is enough to guarantee a victory. 2-0 to Java Ghost Hug. I should play these a bit slower. And relatively even in influence, although Java Ghost Hug seems to be taking the lead. Yeah, these small maps I haven't been used to playing these small maps. Things happen just really quickly. But yeah, it looks like Java Ghost Hug has again taken commanding control of the map. Just muckrakers of propaganda machine left. And looks like Java Ghost Hug, like Host, will sweep their match in round 4. Yeah, Java Ghost Hug really doesn't like to take these final units of the opposing team. Java Ghost Hug is not a fan of our servers. Okay. Now we have Bytecode Mafia versus, is this an L or an I? Anyway, I'll go with L. with LLLLLL's disciple. Income per turn fairly even, and influence fairly even as well, with someone's disciple gaining an advantage slowly. Interestingly, Blue has far fewer slanderers than Battlecode Mafia, but has created far more powerful slanderers, and that's led to an early advantage in income, but that's changing now as Battlecode Mafia gains a buff from finding some of those slanderers. Lots of action going on these ECs up top, changing hands, and now it looks like Battlecode Mafia controls the majority of them. And yeah, it looks like this game will go to Battlecode Mafia. It now controls all of the ECs. And wins by annihilation, a welcome sight. Now on Happy Boba. So even at 4 ECs apiece, again, early on in the game, someone's disciple doing much better in influence thanks to slanderers. Also gaining an advantage in ECs. And looks like they'll be pulling ahead and winning this game. Oh, it's Barco's disciple. Okay, thank you. That'll be easier to say.
Wait, isn't Barcode the name of the team? And then like his actual username is
But I believe it's a team of one, so they're kind of interchangeable.
we call it Barcode.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about Barcode in our internal messages, and we always just refer to him as Barcode. So
Yeah, no one can read. How are you supposed to properly pronounce your username? Or did you just like stab a finger into the keyboard and then just like leave it?
yeah, I mean, if it's an I, oh, anyway, let's focus on the game. So Barcode's disciple doing again much better in influence, and that's translating into a lead in the mid game as well. Look at all of these powerful slanderers near their EC, and yeah, this looks like it will go to Barcode's disciple with total control of all of the ECs. Okay, 2-1. Will Bytecode Mafia be able to stage a comeback?
Yoda.
Right, this is the first time we're seeing this map in this tournament. Influence very close at the moment. Bytecode Mafia is starting to bid a little bit. We'll see if that'll matter. Barcode's disciple with an advantage in ECs, but Bytecode Mafia taking some of them back. Interesting slander replacements, both of them opting for the left middle or the middle of these two sides. And it looks like Bytecode Mafia is slowly gaining map control. Has total control of the top left Baby Yoda and the bottom right Baby Yoda. And yeah, it looks like Bytecode Mafia managed to win that mid game. So this will go to a decider. All right, let's slow this down. On networking, reminiscent of Cow Twister, at least in terms of tile colors. Influence very steady at the moment, both sides creating a solid stash of slanderers. Unlike, yeah, never mind. A few neutral ECs up for grabs, but neither team has taken any yet. Looks like Barcode's Disciple takes one, but challenged by Battlecode Mafia and then consolidated by Barcode's Disciple. Meanwhile, Battlecode Mafia has taken this EC on the bottom, and we're at 2 ECs apiece. There are these ECs on the corners, but they're quite hard to reach, so we'll have to see whether either team's pathfinding, and indeed, Battlecode Mafia has managed to take the EC in the bottom left. And Barcode's Disciple has muckrakers found the CC, but Battlecode Mafia gets there first. And now, wait, what's happened here? Barcode's Disciple has managed to gain an EC advantage while I wasn't looking. And this game looks quite hard to tell, so let's slow it down further. Battlecode Mafia has a 4 times buff. And we'll have to see whether these slanderers are going to get exposed or not by Barcode's Disciple. Battlecode's Isabel maintaining its lead in ECs, but Battlecode Mafia is still remaining fairly solid here, and with a huge advantage in influence. And Battlecode Mafia is the only team to be voting right now, and is heading towards 750. Any thoughts on who might win this? All right, let's.
Like Disciple just hasn't been making that many slanders. Whereas Battlecode is very like, yo, gotta get that econ.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Barcode's Disciple has stopped making slanderers. And yeah, we just saw it unfold before our eyes. Battlecode Mafia slowly taking control of the map, and it looks like they will win the decider, coming back from 2-1. They've secured the requisite number of votes, and they've actually won by annihilation. Battlecode Mafia wins that game 3-2, and I believe Barcode's Disciple will move to the losers bracket. All right, now in the third match of round 4, we have Pies versus Snakes and Ladders. Ooh, this is a very nice map. I mean, I tend to judge maps more by their color, but it presumably is interesting for gameplay too. That's nice. Influence remaining very even between the two, both having around 10 slanderers. Pies having created a lot more politicians, but no muckrakers. Probably just a different choice of scouting units for either team. Snakes and Ladders starting to make some bigger politicians to advance up on the center.
It found the ECs.
Yep. So looks like Snakes and Ladders has taken control of the center and has twice the ECs of Pies. Still 2 more neutrals up for grabs in these very corners. But looks like Snakes and Ladders is getting its hands on those 2. Although,
look at that. He found one. Pies found one of them.
Yeah. That's admirable.
Found the other one too.
Yeah. And Pies is actually doing very well in influence.
Oh no, Snakes and Ladders took the EC on the top left. And the bottom right too.
Well, I mean, we're rooting for Pies, but actually Pies is doing fairly respectably in terms of influence. They have a nice set of slanderers here, but it looks like some of them got exposed. And Snakes and Ladders now has a buff of nearly 8. What will that translate into? Votes are also very even.
Oh, yo, the comeback. The middle ECs are switching sides back and forth.
That's true. It looks like it was powered by a buff of around 5 from Pies. So I guess a lot of the work that competitors put into their bots and like the micro game and just like these small things that make a huge difference, we can't really tell on stream, but they're often the reason why we see certain teams gain advantages. Pies really getting a lead in influence. It looks like Snakes and Ladders gave up on producing slanderers, and that's really benefited pies. So they now have control of all 8 ECs. Votes are very close, but pies with a huge influence advantage and a non-stupid bidding strategy seems to be heading towards victory by that metric too.
This was a close.
Yep, that was a good match. All right, now our second match on networking. Were you responsible for this map?
No, I was not.
Yeah.
I made flowers one. Alright, basically, if you see a map that's ugly, it's probably me making it at 5 a.m. last night. Yeah. I was gonna make, so it was like, I drew like a river of lava, and now I'm like, let's make some volcanoes, and then it did not look like volcanoes at all. So I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like a flower, so it was called flowers.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why it's called networking.
Yeah, it's probably like nodes and edges, whoever drew this.
Okay, so once again, snakes and ladders with, although both teams really seeming to have a cluster of slanderers around their ECs, which is probably a reasonable strategy given how many low passability tiles there are. Pie's taking the lead in influence. Their slanderers actually seem to be around twice as strong as those of snakes and ladders. Pies has managed to find this EC in the top right, which helps it produce more units and gain more passive influence. And we really see Pies taking a huge lead in the influence economy. So it looks like this game might go Pies' way unless buffs make a difference, and Snakes and Ladders just gained a buff of 10.
That is huge.
And the influence lead is shrinking. Looks like Pi still has a solid advantage, but Snakes and Ladders has more map control. And ECs are fairly even, although Pi's taking one of them now. Snakes and Ladders with a huge buff. And that's really helping Snakes and Ladders cut into Pi's influence. And influence is about even. Will Snakes and Ladders start winning the votes now?
Oh, we're seeing it very quickly approaching 750.
Yeah.
Oh, Pies is getting a large buff. While
It
Snakes
looks
and
like,
Ladders.
yeah, Snakes and Ladders is still bidding 0 every now and then, which may not have been the best strategy, as it looks like, barring an annihilation, Pies will take this game.
Yeah. Now, you're familiar. I don't know, what is this? No Wi-Fi one, no internet. All right, close enough.
All right. Both teams with a fairly even number of slanderers, and both liking to make these one conviction muckrakers. Influence fairly even, 2 ECs apiece. But it looks like Pies is a lot more clustered in this top left, where Snakes and Ladders is spreading out and controls a lot of the map now. So they'll probably be the first team to start challenging the opposing team's ECs. And here we see a wave of politicians coming in. Will this EC be taken? Yes. And other ECs have been taken elsewhere, giving Snakes and Ladders a 5-1 lead in total ECs. And looks like
large influence advantage. So we see some big politicians moving out from their base. See if they can get anything done.
that is true.
Ooh, they're going straight towards
Oh.
Snakes and Ladders home base.
Yeah, looks like it withstood the attack, but oh, and Snakes and Ladders just whoa, look at this buff. That's what happens when you make that many slanderers. Jeez, it's the highest I've seen.
That is so okay. I think it's
All right. So yeah, it seems like Pies stayed didn't really explore the map much. Had a huge stock of slanderers that helped it sort of make a push that had some hope, but the slanderers get found eventually. And yeah, that came to Snakes and Ladders. All right.
There's a very, very simple map. Let's see if any complicated strategy can come out of it.
So Snakes and Ladders, the first team to take an EC.
Yeah, once again, I think we see that Pies focuses on econ a bit more, and Snakes and Ladders focuses on exploration more, which in this case seems to be netting them an advantage.
And it looks like both teams are making some interesting politician formations around their ECs. Pies with these circle of politicians circling, and Snakes and Ladders with, wow, a huge lattice of politicians. They certainly look to be having fun, but they're going to die. So, looks like Snakes and Ladders has now established map control with its lattice of politicians.
Yeah, I think in these maps where there are like multiple neutral enlightenment centers up for grabs, then it's like definitely a strategy where you try to explore the map first can gain an advantage. But we have had maps that had like no neutral enlightenment centers, and those probably ended up very differently.
Right. So this game goes to Snakes and Ladders, which means we'll have a fifth match. I feel like, yeah, it's a zero conviction politician, so maybe Snakes and Ladders just doesn't deem it worth it to kill it. But okay, the first time we've seen this map.
Right. The
Wow.
enlightenment center position is very rude, and I might have done that on purpose. So now, as you see, if you build anything, it's just gonna get stuck in like a low passability area. But
And the ECs themselves aren't on one passability tiles, which breaks the norm, but that's all right. It conforms to the spec. Yeah, it looks like
we say one passability.
no, it's been a convention sort of, but I
It's
think
fine.
0.6 is reasonable.
It's okay. There's like stuff next to them, so it's kind of hard for them to do things back to back anyway.
I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, Snakes and Ladders found an EC already, which is sort of as we expected from their exploration strategy that we've seen in the past games. Oh, they found like almost all of them now.
I mean, I think the big question here is whether Snakes and Ladders is going to be able to get a buff from Pie Slanderers, because, I mean, that's always been Pie's strategy to really dominate the economy in the mid game with all these Slanderers, but will they get found? It doesn't seem like Snakes and Ladders are sending too many Muckrakers Pie's way.
Yeah, even though their politicians have already discovered all the slanders.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, the Muckrakers just aren't attacking.
Muckrakers are all on the right side of the map.
Right. So it looks like Pies is just going to maintain a steady.
They're farming right now. Yes, what is this map? Yup. It is intentionally kind of troll because I was having fun with it. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Sublime Text and PowerShell. It's like Mickey Mouse on my computer. I look down and I see the two applications I have. Along with I wanted to make VS Code, but we didn't have like blue squares, so no matter what I did, it just looked weird. So I was like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I feel like if you wanted to make a map that benefited Pies, this would be the map because, yeah, it looks like all their Slanders stayed totally protected. And that means Pies is going to win this matchup 3-2.
Very exciting.
Yeah. You should have made a map with 5 rings.
Oh yeah. All right.
Well, oh
Fine.
no, now we can't even use it for finals. Well, I don't know if we can because I just we'll see.
It's okay. Now they can get. No, it's okay. Submission deadline already passed, so we can say whatever we want.
That is true.
Alright, so now if anyone drops like map ideas, we may or may not adopt it, you know?
All right, Fanda gaining an EC advantage versus TTI, 6-1 now. Yeah, it looks like Fanda just swept through this map. 1-0 to Fanda. On to networking. Yeah. Looks like Fanda's muckrakers have identified an EC in the bottom left and in the top right, while both teams have managed to identify this low passability surrounded EC. Fanda has an advantage in the economy, both teams having fairly reasonable unit distributions, but Fanda with a much higher total conviction of their slanderers, which is really helping them gain an advantage in influence. Fandit also pulling ahead in votes with just a bit of 2. And Fandit now sweeping through the map. Yep, Fandit now has a buff from finding TTI slanderers, and that's going to push Fandit to victory. Influence very even at the moment. In terms of Fandit units are a lot more spread out. Well, I guess both units are exploring fairly well. Looks actually fairly symmetric at the moment. TTI's managed to find an EC, but that changes hands almost immediately. And we're Fandit now has a 1 EC advantage. Fandit also has a huge lead in influence at the moment, again powered by their very beefy slanderers. Fandit with a buff as well, and looks to be in a very strong position at the moment as their politicians swarm the map. So Fandit will take this third game. Okay, game goes to Fandit. Congratulations. You're into the next round. We now have Propaganda Machine versus Atom. Propaganda Machine taking an early lead in influence after producing much more slanderers. Still no ECs converted yet, but we see politicians converging on these ECs. And at the moment, it's gone to Propaganda Machine. But influence still fairly steady, and both teams having quite a lot of it. Propaganda Machine now with a huge advantage in EC count, taking all 4 along this diagonal. But now Atom managed to take one of them back, at least for now. And Atom is in certainly a salvageable position at the moment, doing reasonably well in influence, but slowly seems to be diminishing in influence, and Propaganda Machine will take this map. match. On to match 2 on networking. Propaganda machine making a very big politician to take that EC after having scouted it. Atom also looking to take this EC, but its politicians seem to be a bit reluctant. You have a 500 conviction politician, which is enough to take any EC, but you're just not empowering.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the CC will ever be taken. But Adam does have the lead in influence at the moment. Although that's narrowing. And yeah, Propaganda Machine has a much higher income per turn. Yeah, I really like all of these stats.
Yeah, props to. Didn't one of the competitors make the
Yes.
graph?
Yeah, the graph is from Stone T2000 of Team California Roll. And we've had a bunch of other PRs to decline as well. There's a profiler that came from J Merle. And there was also symmetry added to the map editor from, oh no, I'm gonna forget people's names. I think that was from Team Double J. So yeah, we've had a lot of useful competitor PRs.
Oh, yo, they took the EC after waiting for so long.
Wait, Adam took the EC?
Yeah, when did that happen? I missed it. But
I
they
mean,
also took both ECs in the corner, so.
right. Yeah. Looks Propaganda Machine now has control of all the ECs. And that generally guarantees a win. Although if it were not to, that would be important for certain bingo cards that have been made. Influence fairly steady at the moment. I mean, fairly even at the moment. Looks like Propaganda Machine has been the first to scout these two ECs. And Propaganda Machine takes that EC in the top right. Adam should take this. Well, Adam has a history of taking ECs slowly, but takes that one. Propaganda Machine takes this EC, and currently ECs are even at 3-all. Adam with a lot of units in the corner here and just moving amongst themselves. Adam currently gaining much more income per turn, thanks to, not sure quite what that's thanks to. I guess the slanders they've made have more optimal conviction, which helps them. Propaganda Machine with a huge buff. And influence is fairly even at the moment. Looks like Adam is holding its own in this match. Propaganda Machine with another huge buff. And yeah, we've seen 2-0 comebacks before. Smite came back from 2-0, if I remember correctly, in the qualifications. But Propaganda Machine with consistently large buffs and taking a huge lead in influence, clearly has map control. So, oh wait, yeah, and catching up in votes as well. So this is Propaganda Machine's game. So no comeback this time. So next up we have, this must be the losers bracket now.
Oh, I finally get it. Because barcodes are lines. Sorry.
I still don't understand.
Barcode's a bunch of lines.
It took you that long?
Yo, I'm leaving. I'm sorry.
Kansas City Asians taking a lead in influence, but looks to be narrowing now. Barcode's visible, not voting much yet. And my FPS dropping. What's happening? Okay, it looks to be normal now, but Barcode's visible with significant advantage in ECs. Oh, it looks like a politician got into enemy territory, and now Kansas City Asians is clinging on to just one EC in the corner. And that EC gets taken too. And looks like some politicians of Kansas City Asians are just chilling in the center. Which I guess, yeah, politicians can be lazy, so. But looks like Barcode's visible will take this game. 1-0 to Barcode's visible. Barcode's visible's muckrakers following this nice trail will lead them all the way to the neutral EC. Looks like a muckraker's made its way. Now will other muckrakers follow suit? Or even politicians? Meanwhile, Barcode's visible also has a lead in influence, but not voting yet, as was the case previously. Yeah, Barcode Visible has managed to take these two ECs into the center here. This one being held in basically enemy territory fairly successfully by just this wall of one. Okay, that looks like Kansas City Asians is trying to fight back and get the CC, sending some big politicians. And meanwhile, Barcode Visible has indeed captured these two ECs in the corner, probably helped by better pathfinding, at least for this map. And that will help them win. Now Barcode Visible just needs one more win. Both teams still haven't taken any of these ECs, but Barcode Visible now takes the EC in the top right, and Kansas City takes the other EC in the top right. Or does it? No, it goes to Barcode Visible. Again, another team whose politicians just like to hang around. I'm not sure. I guess the conviction would probably be split a lot if the politician empowered here, but still, probably these politicians should be. I mean, they're not even moving. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure what. Like, if we take a EC right when we can take it, it's gonna end up being like super vulnerable. So they want to have like enough to like take over it and still have like a large amount of influence in it. So then it's hard for the enemy team to just walk up and sweep it. At least that's how I play Generals.io, which is like, this game is like low-key inspired by that. For those of you that don't know it, it's kind of like you have a general and then like makes troops and it walks around on squares trying to take other people's troops and generals and stuff.
I wonder why Blue's politicians just totally freeze. Is it because they have no ECs left and something goes awry with communication? I don't know, but the match goes to Barcode's Visible. Now we have Pies versus Fandad. And Nathan, when you have the time, it would be great if you could let us know which section of the tourney we're in. Since...
Alright, so this is a very large map. With two cute baby Yodas. I don't even know what the other thing is. Wait, Gaurav, do you know what the?
Is that a lightsaber? I don't know.
It might be a lightsaber waving like left and right like this, you know?
I don't think Yoda. Wait, no, Yoda does wield a white. Like, I'm not going to embarrass myself.
It's okay, Sarah. I don't know Star Wars either. Yeah. Who made this?
Pies, although with a disadvantage in influence, has just gained a huge buff. They're surrounded in the corner here, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to leverage that. As Fandit's politicians infiltrate the enemy, Fandit has a huge buff. And yep, that might be the record buff we've seen today. And Fandit wins game 1. Again, on Tiger, a map with tons of ECs and has tended to finish fairly quickly. Fandit's muckrakers are patrolling the upper region, and politicians are on their way. Fandit achieves its first EC conversion and also seems to have taken some of Pi's ECs down at the bottom. Pi's leaving in votes, but looks like Pies won't be able to vote for much longer. Second game goes to Fandit. Onto Frog or Bath. I didn't notice the name of this map yet.
I was like, yo, this is me and Nathan were just like trolling when I was making this map. I was like, yeah, I want to draw a bathtub. And I like drew 2 bubbles. And I'm like, it actually looks like a frog more than it does like a bathtub. And we made like a shower head. And then we like put some water droplets. And then we tried to make it look like a frog's nose. Anyways, we're just trolling. So.
And looks like Fandit likes bats, taking a 7-1 lead in ECs. Yep. So Fandit will win this match 3-0. Next up, we have Propaganda Machine versus Barcode's Disciple. So is this the final match, like the deciding match of who comes out of the losers bracket? Or I'm not sure, but both of these are teams, yeah.
No. So I think whoever wins this and Fandit, who just beat Pies, would like their match would be the one that decides who comes out.
Oh, I see. Anyway, these teams both seem to have victories under their belt, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So both teams up to 3 ECs each. Barcode's Disciple with around a factor of 2 advantage and influence, and also with much more map control than Propaganda Machine. Yeah, Barcode's Disciple has captured 7 of the 8 ECs in the map. The 8th one falls, and the first game goes to Barcode's Disciple.
So Barcode's Disciple is not Barcode, right? So it's like someone else. That's probably
Yes.
Barcode is what I was assuming.
Okay. So Barcode's Disciple and Propaganda Machine both heading towards the top. Barcode's Disciple is the first to convert an EC. Also the second to convert the EC and the third. So yeah, Barcode's Disciple has...
My apologies.
No problem. So second match goes to Barcode's Disciple.
I think they're also Propaganda Machine was getting attacked on the bottom before they even were able to send politicians to the top. So.
I see. Yeah. So 2 ECs actually fairly close to each other here in the center. In the past, this has confused teams, but perhaps not on this map. Barcode's Disciple has an advantage of 3 ECs, Propaganda Machine's 2. Barcode's Disciple has a huge advantage in influence as well. And yeah, it seems like Barcode's Disciple, this matches up very well against Propaganda Machine, as they win 3-0. Now we have Coast versus IDRC. So Coast is our first seed, I believe. So Wait, what is this map name?
Oh, it's what I see in my dreams. It means I code so much, so when I it's not this is yeah. Thanks to Nathan for the whatever inspiration.
Why do you see the Sublime Text logo?
I do not. It's just like I actually use VS Code, but VS Code is too hard to draw, so I drew Sublime. Yep.
So both teams having quite a few ECs. Coast with the influence advantage and the buff advantage and map control advantage, while IDRC's politicians are having a good time. Coast has a commanding lead in influence now. So this game will go to Coast. I should probably slow down a bit more in the mid game to figure out what really happens. So first game goes to Coast. On to Star. IDRC finds the EC in the center very quickly. It's a promising start. And looks to be taking the top EC as well. However, Coast is sending some huge politicians to counterattack and manages to retake the center EC, but then it changes hands once more. Looks like at the end of all of that, IDRC has managed to take all points of the star and the center too. And looks like IDRC is going to tie this set of matches up at 1-1. This could be an interesting contest on networking. Wow, looks like these muckrakers of IDRC are heading straight for EC, but so are politicians from Coast. Looks like Coast is way ahead of him in that, way ahead of IDRC on that. Coast takes the top right EC as well, but possibly not for long. And it's actually tied at 3 ECs apiece. Coast with a huge influence advantage.
And a buff advantage too. Oh, no longer a buff advantage.
Yeah.
It's like a big slander they expose, the buff expire or something.
But yeah, Coast for since around turn 250 has been gaining a lot more influence per turn. And yeah, looks like influence economy is very strongly correlating with who ends up winning these games, which is not surprising, I guess. Oh, this is a nice map.
The windmill. Yeah, there's a lot of ECs. I think I just like
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's worth it to capture these neutral ECs. I guess the passive influence doesn't change, I think. Colorful assortment of ECs.
overcompensating the mistake from the quals tournament where it was a map where they were like no ECs because we trolled. We reran the entire tournament basically, so I like overcompensated by putting a lot of ECs on like every map. It's okay, we still had some low EC count.
So, IDRC looks to be pushing this to 2-2 with all 10 ECs.
Wow.
And a huge buff. So Coast was actually doing really well, or pretty respectively in influence for during mid game, but just couldn't hold on to the ECs. Wow. So we're going to yet another deciding game. Let's slow this down.
Yep.
Randomized.
Yeah, it's kind of basically an RNG map.
Yeah, I feel like this is reasonable. Yeah.
They got their bots got to be able to deal with all different environments. You know, this is totally fair. But yeah, we only have one map that's like RNG like this.
So yeah, influence is very close. IDRC seems to be doing slightly better, and IDRC has managed to capture 5 of the ECs to Coast 2. 6 now. So this is looking good for IDRC, and not so good for our first seed. IDRC now with 8 ECs. Yeah, IDRC just sweeping in and capturing all of the ECs. Coast has nothing left, and IDRC wins this set of 5 matches, 3-2. So we'll be seeing Coast again, and yeah, but congratulations to IDRC. Now Java Ghost Hug versus Bytecode Mafia. On What I See in My Dreams. Influence very equal at the moment. Bytecode Mafia pulling ahead, although ECs are still tied. Bytecode Mafia with a sizable buff. And now Bytecode Mafia is catching up in votes as well. Java Ghost Hug with a buff of their own. And yeah, it looks like Java Ghost Hug has surrounded its ECs with a bunch of Slanderers, a bunch of Muckrakers. Whoa, Java Ghost Hug has made, whoa, that's a lot of Muckrakers. Yeah. No Slanderers, tons of Muckrakers. And yeah, and they're all one or two conviction Muckrakers too. So what are these Muckrakers gonna do? And Java Ghost, oh, that's what they're gonna do. Java Ghost Hug is a buff of around 12 now. That is interesting. And this might help Java Ghost Hug come back. Still trailing in influence, but still maintaining a steady buff. And soon may have the whole map with all of these Muckrakers. Up to 500 units now. So Bytecode Mafia still has a fairly strong foothold here, but it looks like the game is slipping away from Bytecode Mafia, as Java Ghost Hug now has a 2 EC advantage,
The
just
ring
over
of
2 influence.
so form a nice frame for the entire map.
Right. So Java Ghost Hug would need, so this is a 40 by 40 map. So yeah, they're doing well in terms of taking possible, like on a good path to covering every single square with Muckrakers. And yeah, Java Ghost Hug has secured the requisite votes after gaining an advantage in influence from getting buffs. And first game goes to Java Ghost Hug. On to Star, a much smaller map. Will the Muckrakers flood even more effectively?
This is when I realized you can have maps that are not even dimensions, you know? Like it can still be symmetrical even if the dimensions are odd. So now we have a 5-pointed star.
So Java Ghost Hug again, flooding the map in Muckrakers, gaining in votes, and has a higher influence. And yeah, it just seems like Java Ghost Hug is able to get a lot of map control and also threaten any slanderers that Bytecode Mafia makes very effectively. And this game goes to Bytecode Mafia. Oh, sorry, this game goes to Java Ghost Hug. Yeah, this is certainly an interesting strategy. I'm not sure if we've seen a similar strategy from other teams yet. All right, 2-0 to Java Ghost Hug. Java Ghost Hug again racing ahead in Muckrakers. Bytecode Mafia does have the influence lead, but we've seen it slip away from them before. You can watch. Wait, what happened there? Whoops. All right, let's restart. I think a key got stuck. Okay. I'm going to have to detach my keyboard and like press all of the keys. Okay.
What happened?
I think one of my keys is stuck. So Battlecode Mafia with a huge advantage in influence. It doesn't seem like Java Ghost Hugs muckrakers have been able to find them this game. Find Battlecode Mafia Slenderers. Java Ghost Hug with a decent buff though. But yeah, it doesn't look like Java Ghost Hug's been able to get the same sort of map control that they got in previous games. Again, a decent buff, and Java Ghost Hug isn't out of it, but influence is dwindling.
Oh, they don't have ECs.
Oh, they don't have VCs. Yeah, they're out of it. So, game goes to Battlecode Mafia. 2-1. Paper windmill. Both teams gaining an EC at 3 each. Java Ghost Hug, I'm not making much in the way of slanderers, whereas Battlecode Mafia now has 20. And that's helping Battlecode Mafia, again, race ahead in influence. Will Java Ghost Hug's muckrakers have a response? In fact, Java Ghost Hug isn't even leading in muckrakers at the moment.
Oh yeah. At least they're still fairly even in ECs. There's still one that's neutral and untaken. See if they'll find it soon. I believe they should. Nah. I think they know. Yeah, they both know where it is now.
So, oh, but how the influence is closing in? Wow. How did Java Ghost Hug get back? Just a flood of muckrakers finally appeared.
No, it's because they got the ECs. Or they started taking them.
I see. Okay, so yeah, this game. So Java Ghost Hug will close this out. Possibly.
Wait, is that two?
Yeah.
1-3.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of politicians just standing around in these games. Oh. All right, so congratulations to Java Ghost Hug, winning this matchup 3-1, final score 4-1. Mid-tourney spec change which removes muckrakers from the game. Coast.
Mid-spec change which removes muckrakers from the game. I like this idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like the competitors will love it. So.
Oh, now everyone is disqualified because you're making illegal bots. The old buff. Dude, the old buff was so broken, dude. There's no way you want us to keep the old buff. Although it's like super snowbally. So it's like, have like a 2x2 map.
So Coast racing ahead in votes, but influence is very even at the moment, and both teams, Barcode Disciple had a decent buff, but now it's back to no buffs for either team. Tied at 5 ECs each. And income has fluctuated a lot and looks to be fairly even between both teams. So Coast inching ahead, getting one more EC and getting slightly more influence, and also has a commanding lead in votes. Still bid 0 now and then. So Coast with a commanding lead in influence now and getting a lot more income per turn, with Barco's Disciple relying only on passive influence to gain influence. It's like Barco's Disciple with nothing but ECs and a few politicians now. What's happened here? They at least one of them has been trapped by muckrakers. And interestingly, yeah, this is all no bots except ECs are essentially remaining for Barco's Disciple.
I wonder if we should have a rule where you like can't walk up right next to an enemy. you know, because like if you just completely surround them, then there's nothing they can do other than like have another EC send reinforcements over, which is kind of hard.
That is true. But strangely, I don't know if we've seen like, I guess if there were more maps that were just like one EC for either team, you can see some sort of rush strategy with that as a goal.
Surround them and then it's over.
Coast has an influence advantage for now, but Barco's visible catching up. Coast seeming to have slightly more map control here, but Barco's visible. Wow, EC's just Coast just got a lot of ECs, but now it's losing them again. There's a lot of action going on these ECs across the diagonal. This EC keeps changing hands. So does this one. Whereas Barco's visible at least seems to have a solid hold on this EC here. And look what might be happening here. Politicians coming in, but this EC seems might be a bit too strong for capture by those politicians. And yeah, Barco's visible has managed to capture the EC in the bottom right. And Coast, with no ECs left, its 455 votes are either going to be surpassed or irrelevant if Barco's visible plays their cards right.
Barco's disciple, I have a question. Does your bot just never vote? I guess it's like I feel like voting hasn't really been important in most of the games we've watched, but just curious, dude. Voting one doesn't seem like a bad idea, you know?
Well, voting might be important in this game.
Ooh, dude, it'd be so funny if Barco's disciple doesn't annihilate them and then they won out the vote.
That looks like look at this huge McGregor. But yeah, look what's happened. Will they be able? Will Barco's disciple be able to eliminate those? So let's follow this McGregor. Yep. Their politicians empowering. Two McGregors left.
Getting smaller.
And it's possible that there'll be a politician-wide empower at the end, which might catch this McGregor. McGregor's only one McGregor left. All right.
They were so close. It's like 1,268 rounds, dude. Oh my goodness.
But interesting how confident Barco's disciple was in that. They would have lost on votes if. All right. So Barco's disciple with 0 votes. Interesting. But Coast with a significant influence advantage at the moment, and 7-1 in ECs. Yeah, looks like Coast found these ECs first and has taken Barcode's disciple's original EC. So things aren't looking good for Barcode's disciple, as the third game ends in disappointment for Barcode's disciple. On to game 4. Will we see a decider here? Wow.
Well, Coast has found the 2 middle ECs and quickly took them over. However, Barco does have more. Never mind, no longer more influence. I think their slanders got discovered. Barco did find Barco's disciple. I should stop calling him Barco. Not the same person. The 2 ECs in the corners of the map. So, and now they took over the middle one too. Wow, spicy matches. A lot of fighting going on in the middle of the map, as expected. And yeah, I believe this one goes to Barco. It's 2-2 now. And actually, yeah, I feel like they're gonna annihilate all the muckrakers, so it'll be fine. So last game of this match, we'll see who ends up coming out on top. Okay, yeah, so this will go into whoever wins this goes to the final round in the losers bracket. I always see Barco Disciple has taken over more neutral ECs than Coast. Wait, Coast is the first seed, right? Question mark.
I think so.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks like they've gained control over the entire windmill and now
Yeah,
fighting.
looks like Coast has made some costly mistakes. Sorry. Like, yeah, that's a pretty big upset. So Coast does not advance. And congratulations to Barco's Disciple.
You're going to the final round of the losers bracket. And if you win that, back into the winners bracket.
So congratulations to Barco's Disciple on edging on a close victory. Now we have Bytecode Mafia against Fandad. Fandad leading slightly in influence. ECs, however, are going to Bytecode Mafia, 6-3. This looks like Bytecode Mafia is trying to take this EC slowly, and yes, it goes to Bytecode Mafia. Now a 7-3 advantage. We'll see this EC, yeah, looks like they're all getting whittled down by Bytecode Mafia's politicians. Game 2 Bytecode Mafia. On to no internet. Wait, so who made this map? I feel like it's been here for a while, right?
I did not. Oh, we had like 16 maps that we just like recycle back and forth through all of the rounds in this tournament. And each round has like 5 maps, so I do think some of these will show up like multiple times.
So Bytecode Mafia taking the lead in influence thanks to these slanderers, but that lead is remaining fairly steady actually. Bytecode Mafia has managed to take these ECs in the top right and bottom left. Are they under threat? This one certainly is. It had just changed hands, but Bytecode Mafia consolidating its EC lead. It's now 6-0. So Bytecode Mafia wins the second game against Bandit. On to Tiger. Some early exposes going on between these two ECs in close quarters with each other. Some muckrakers roaming around on this top part. Bytecode Mafia securing these two ECs down here, but Fandad's politicians may have something to say about it. And yes, Fandad's politicians managed to take one of the ECs. For now, yep, things are really tumultuous down there.
They've also been fighting over the left eye of the tiger. And Fandad has also found the ECs on top, so see if they can build up a large lead from that.
Yeah, looks like this won't be a sweep. So, yeah, we see a bunch of politicians just doing their thing again. Yeah, this game is Fandad's.
Yeah, Fandad also has a lot of votes. Alright, we just see Bytecode Mafia, one of their politicians, has found Fandad's base. And they are both in the center of the map trying to take over the ECs. They've also both found the ECs in the corners now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Fandit has took over both the Enlightenment centers in the center, building up an influence lead, and also a buff lead by exposing the Slanders from Baiko Mafia's base. Ooh, is this gonna be a reverse sweep? Yeah, I believe this game is going to go to Fandit as Baiko Mafia only holds on to a single EC on top of corner of the map. Oh no, they took back the two in the flowers, volcanoes, whatever. But did you speed up the game or did it lag for me?
I sped up the game, and then I slowed it down, so it's a bit weird.
And there we have it. Last game, game 5. Wow, we've been getting a lot of game 5. This is exciting. Alright, well, Baiko Mafia with the early lead, taking over the neutral ECs. Bandit is fighting back. They are fighting over. Ooh. Huh. I feel like Bandit just has better, like, invasive strategies, like taking ECs over back. But I guess they also have influence with how the slander is going around. Oh, wow, this might actually be a reverse sweep. There's still the two neutral enlightenment centers are not on windmills. Never mind, they're no longer left untouched, as Fandit does claim control over one of them and sending politicians to take over the other one as well. And yeah. Oh, I see that Baiko Mafia does have like an interesting array positioning for their politicians. Kind of like put in like squares, sort of, but unfortunately, there's not going to be much that they can do as this game goes to Fandit as well with the reverse sweep. Dude, that's so cool. So yeah, so we will see Barco's Disciple versus Fandit in the losers brackets final match, sort of. Is it kind of final match? Yep, so this is the finals of the losers bracket. Oh shit. So we
Influence is fairly even at the moment. Barco's Disciple taking a lead in ECs, and now looks to control 4/5 of the star. The final EC goes Barco's Disciple's way, and so does the game. First game to Barco's Disciple. On to Flowers. Influence is fairly even, although Barco's Disciple starts taking a lead. Neither team has taken any of the ECs in this diagonal yet.
I think that Fandit has found the corner ones already, and
Right.
now the Disciple is found.
Oh, that's so sad. The blue politician converted. I mean, empowered in the bottom right, but
Yeah. See, that's what sometimes you don't want to empower right when you find it. You know, like you gotta make sure when you take over it, it's like not super vulnerable. Oh dang. Alright, Fandit has taken over all the originally neutral enlightenment centers. Let's see if there's gonna be an aggressive response from Barco's Disciple, because if not, oh, they were trying to fight over the EC at the bottom right, but fortunately one politician is not gonna do it with so many slanders protecting it. Yeah. That game goes to Fandit, and now it is 1-1, and now we have a randomized map to see which team's strategy fares better in this case. There's also a 64 by 64 map. Not actually. Well, it looks like Barco's disciple has been making aggressive moves towards the enemy EC in the center, and Bandit has been responding with like in a similar manner. So they've been fighting. They switched hands. Like the two centers in the middle, it was the opposite way around. Like the control of like which one you had. Seems like they switched and it's like fairly. Never mind. Barco disciple took the other one as well, and taking over a lot of the neutral and Enlightenment centers as well, building up a large influence lead. And EC control is also very one-sided at this current moment.
Yeah. There's a comment in the Twitch chat saying that this is map test big.
Yes, map test big, essentially. Result accidentally got put on the brackets. This is true. Yeah. This is unfortunate. I realized that a while ago, but anyways, it's been removed. So if you don't tell people, they won't know who won.
So
Yeah, Nathan, like, play this fast. Thanks, bye. Okay, Nathan.
okay, so as has been the case in this map, the units are clustering in these squares of low passability. But Bandit seems to be doing better on the economy front. Around 4 or 5 times the amount of influence. And Bandit's politicians are now sweeping in, taking over one of Barco's disciple ECs.
Yo, is this the first time this like happened early-ish game?
Yeah, this is, well, I mean, I'm not sure how many times
All
we've
these
seen this.
huge politicians coming to reinforce this attack. How big are they? Can you click on them? I want to see how much influence they have.
So each of these politicians weigh in at around 800 conviction, 700 conviction. And yeah, on total, Bandit has around 45,000 conviction of politicians on the board. And that's going to power them to victory. So we have, in what has been a frequent occurrence, a game 5 on networking. All right, so game 5. No EC's taken yet, although looks like, yeah, Barco's Disciple takes one at the bottom and Bandit follows suit. Barco's Disciple finds the EC in the bottom left, and now Barco's Disciple has a 4-1 advantage as Barco's Disciple's politicians start sweeping in on the bottom. But Bandit is. Wait, I've gotten confused. Okay, yeah, but Barco's Disciple now has 5 ECs to Bandit's bottom.
Those fat politicians attacking. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll have to see whether Bandit's able to fight their way out of this. And now ECs are back to tied. No, Bandit loses a couple of ECs again. Barco's Disciple taking the lead in influence, and Bandit not able to expand it from its one EC.
Seems like it might actually be a valid strategy, just never vote, given that if these games, usually like if you're like behind, you're gonna get annihilated anyways.
I disagree. I feel like, I mean, you can just bid one at least. Like it's like if you want to make a statement, you cannot vote. But it's just disrespectful.
I think one is fine, but I think like going for a strictly bidding strategy is probably just not the way to go because it's really hard to stay alive. Although I guess like could be games where you're like pretty even and like both teams cannot annihilate the enemy team, then it would be like really important to have those votes.
Yeah, but we do have a very interesting dynamic going on here. Fanda just 200 votes away from prospectively winning by votes. and Barco's disciple looking to annihilate Fandad, who has 0 ECs left. So Barco's disciple manages to annihilate Fandad, but they shouldn't be proud of it, having not voted the top. Like, I mean, come on, that's not good. So Barco's disciple though does manage to win a set of 5 matches. So
No, I'm just kidding. This is fine. Okay.
yeah, so congratulations to Barco's disciple, and also congratulations to Fandad for the good
Hey,
fun.
you've made it out of the losers bracket. You will be going back to the winner of the winners bracket. All right, so IDRC versus Java Ghost Hug. Ghost Hug. I think it would be cool if we call it Ghost Bug. You know, bugs that you can't debug. So this is the semifinals of the entire tournament. Which is kind of like the finals of the winners bracket, but whoever wins this will go against Barco's disciples, and that would be the actual finals. 2 large politicians from IDRC going around exploring the map. You see that the neutral enlightenment centers have been discovered but have not been taken yet. Never mind. That one has been taken. The total income per turn has spiked a lot for IDRC for a while, and then I'm guessing some slanders died or they stopped producing influence, so it drops back down. Java Ghostly has taken both of the neutral enlightenment centers, but IDRC took over Java Ghost Hug's original ECs, so do see IDRC building up an advantage with both influence and ECs. Never mind, one of the ECs. Wait, what? Okay. You know what? This thing changes too fast. It's fine. They're building up an advantage, even though Java Ghost Hug has a much larger buff.
We should take a look at the size of IDRC's politician, which represents the total conviction it has. The politicians have stored in them.
Very strong politicians. Gonna give some very passionate speeches. The thing that Java Ghost was successful.
Yes, a win by votes. Congratulations, IDRC, for winning the right way.
Exactly. All right. Barco's disciple, if you're still watching, which you probably are because you're going to finals, this is how you're supposed to win, okay?
Voting is bad? Okay.
Everyone, you should vote in real life.
It's your civic responsibility to bid for citizens' votes.
It would be so good to make the best match.
IDRC taking a commanding lead in ECs versus Java Ghost Hug, but Java Ghost Hug is taking a couple back, but it's just not enough. It's really hard to recover from a losing position now. If only the game were a bit more snowbally.
Small maps are definitely more snowbally. It's okay. We endorse people that actually vote. So,
IDRC wins in the only reasonable way, and now has a 2-0 advantage instead of matches.
Another small map. Let's see if the same thing ends up happening.
So IDRC is just starting off with a huge influence lead. I guess Java Ghost Hug's reluctance to make slanderers comes back to hurt it. So yeah, IDRC just dominating the influence economy.
Yeah, I do think we're kind of seeing like a rock, paper, scissors thingy where certain strategies are like very strong against some strategies, but those strategies can do well against others, which is why we can see this type of sort of landslide victory even like near the finals. All right, so now the actual finals of the high school tournament.
Wait, what? Wait, the finals? Aren't the finals? Is the real finals?
The finals, yeah.
But aren't finals meant to be shown on the finals, like during the finalist stream?
Yeah, this is the finals of the high school tournament, so not the
Yeah,
finals.
but the finals of the high school tournament is meant to be played in the um
Maybe
yeah
we should do this then. Hold on.
finals, yeah. So does this determine second seed? That's what I was thinking. I don't think the match would even have been played if it were the real finals. So this is losers finals, so it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, but at least yeah.
Oh wait, this is losers finals. Never
All right.
mind.
All right.
Wait,
So here we go.
I'm trolling. Sorry, guys. Okay, that is true. So whoever wins this will go to the actual finals against IDRC. Yes.
All right. Barco's disciple with a decent lead in influence at the moment, but a significant disadvantage in ECs. Just hanging on to this one EC here, and yeah, influence falls correspondingly. And yeah, so it seems like yeah, EC control really matters a ton, even when you have an influence advantage. It's hard to convert that into a win when you're relying on only one EC. Yeah. So yeah, Java Ghost Hug secures a requisite number of votes, and then, unlike not being a barbarian, doesn't kill off its opponents, but just wins the election. Okay.
So many muckrakers. Oh my god.
Okay. So 1-0. Now on to flowers. Oops. Okay.
We like skip through the match because now a lot of the neutral ones have already been taken.
So an interesting question is whether this is going to go to 5 games. I would say no, because Barco's Visible doesn't vote, so their luck's gonna run out sooner rather than later.
Hey, you were hoping for one of your games to not go to game 5? This might be it, dude. This might be it. Biased commentating. Yo, what do you mean?
Is
You're very unbiased. Very unbiased.
encouraging people to vote a biased comment? Of course not.
Fair and
We're fair and unbiased. And look, blue team's winning. This is awesome. All right. And blue team's is blue team gonna secure the required number of votes? Yes, they will. Are they going to win?
yo,
This
they
is-
hit 751.
I am feeling no emotions at all.
So we've got some people protesting in the Twitch chat. I wonder who it is.
Right. So on to the third match.
Dude. Go for it, dude. Go for it. Feel free to expose it. Okay, you know what? I'll stop trolling.
All right.
You know what? I like it when things go to game 5. You know, more exciting.
Okay. Java Ghost Hug with a lead in influence at the moment. And taking a lead in votes as well, a pretty commanding lead. Onto the map. So some of Java Ghost Hug's politicians are beginning to infiltrate Barcode Disciples. Stronghold up top. Barcode Disciple is leading in ECs, unfortunately, with 6 ECs to no, but now Java Ghost Hug is recapturing some of those. So Java Ghost Hug now leads 6-4 in ECs. What will happen next? Barcode Disciple does still have the advantage in influence. Java Ghost Hug's politicians are roaming the premises here in Java Ghost Hug in Barcode Disciple Stronghold.
How big is
Will
it?
they expose? I mean, will they empower any moment now? Hopefully. What's going on in the rest of the map? Influence is in Barcode Disciple's favor, but not by too much. And Java Ghost Hug's strategy of flooding with muckrakers is working to decent effectiveness. And Java Ghost now gets a buff. But yeah, so it seems like I'm not sure if these, it's very hard to take the stronghold of 3 ECs for obvious reasons. Java Ghost Tech has secured the needed number of votes.
It seems like as long as Barcode's Disciple doesn't annihilate Java Ghost Hug, they will actually just win this. Although their stronghold has been broken into as well, so even holding on to their own their base might be a little difficult. See a very large ring of muckrakers around all of the map. This is like a picture frame. I like it. Lots of muckrakers.
Wait,
Alright, so as we see, even though no annihilation has happened, one team has won over the other because they voted. You know?
and just wait, stop. Before we announce, before we talk about the winners, Barcode this will want to recount. So we want to count all of their votes again. All right, let's just give us a few seconds. All right, let's count all the votes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, all right, they're all counted now, and Java Ghost Tug remains the winner. So Java Ghost Tug wins 3-0. Final score 5-0. But congratulations to Barco's Disciple for winning so many game 5s and having a great run. But Java Ghost Tug will be heading to the finals.
Also, just to clarify, we're not actually biased. We just think it's funny. So for those of you guys that don't take sarcasm, I hope everyone understands that we're just having fun. So anyways, congratulations to everyone that's made it this far in the tournament. I believe we will not actually be running the finals right now, so that will be part of the final tournament on Saturday or whenever it is. I don't know. It's on Saturday, right? So are we moving on to the newbie tournament
we
now?
still have the newbie tournament coming up. So these are teams from MIT who are competing for the first time. Is that right?
Yeah, it's teams comprised entirely of MIT students that are competing for the first time. It was kind of funny because the year that I competed, we made it into the finalists for like the actual tournament, like the US calls tournament. But then we got eliminated like the first or second round of newbie tournament, so it's like something happened.
Wait, this doesn't look right. All right, I've got a. All right, so we're on to the newbie tournament now. So we're going to start off with this team, who is the first seed, versus Better Than Random. So on Tiger. So this team starts off with a solid set of Slenderers, while Better Than Random doesn't produce any. So what makes Better Than Random better than random? I guess we will find out. Well, they do vote, so that is one thing. All right, this team is gaining an advantage in ECs, but interestingly, none of those are not drawing from these top ECs here, which both teams have left untouched for now, but really sweeping in and taking all of these ECs, and yeah, without even needing these top ECs, this team has shown why they're the first seed, rushing through and winning all of these ECs. All right, so this game goes to this team. All right, now on to Happy Boba.
Wait, I haven't even seen some of the maps yet. Maybe they got ran in the earlier.
Why are these maps the same in the newbie tournament? That's weird.
I think it's like the same 16 maps that we use for these two tournaments, but there are some maps out of like the 16 that we haven't seen yet. So it's kind of trouble.
All right, yeah.
We randomly put them in different rounds. Anyway.
Yeah. So this is the first match of round 3, by the way, for those following along the challenge. So this team again, really commandingly winning the game. Okay, let's take a closer look at what happens this game. So how does this team take control of Better Than Random's ECs so quickly? So We have some politicians roaming around here. Currently, this team has a 1 EC lead. There's still a neutral EC left here. And again, I guess this team just takes, thanks to producing slanderers, just really takes a commanding lead and influence at the beginning of these games. And yeah, that's enough to sweep through without even bothering generally to even take the neutral ECs. So game goes to this team. So this team wins that matchup 3-0, and the final score would have been 5-0. On to Cuttlefish versus Elizabeth. You want to take this one?
Snowball versus Cuttlefish. Okay, I like the names of these teams. They're very cute. Alright, let's see. Wait a second. This is... Oh yeah, we're restarting. So once again, starting on the tiger map. I should have named it tigers or cows, actually. Because they just are. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really talked about this, but there's like 6 alignment sentences on top of a thing that's... It's like the Chinese character for king, which... It's like commonly seen on like tigers' foreheads, which is like kind of why people think like tigers are like the king of like, I don't know, king of the jungle is actually lion for some reason. But I looked this up because I wanted to call the map king of the jungle. So yeah, whoever takes over that territory is like pretty much going to snowball and win. They kind of troll, but we do see that Cuttlefish is having a sizable array of slanders on the right side that somehow just all disappeared. I guess the muckraker just went over and exposed them all. And did you speed up the match? Suddenly.
I did speed up the match. Yeah.
Alright, Snowball took all the ECs and now they're going to Snowball, as their name suggests.
Who took all the ECs?
Snowball?
Who's that?
The red team?
Red team? I'm not following. I guess you didn't watch last stream.
I'm confused. What are we talking about?
We don't actually, I mean, I'm not sure what you were trying to say, but that's not actually a team. We have here Cuttlefish versus Dollar No Ball.
Oh, yo, what the hell?
Okay.
You're trolling me. Okay, Dollar No Ball right here. I like that actually. That's kind of troll. Dollar No Ball quickly taking over the ECs on the boba pearls at the bottom, the neutral ones at least. And they also took over the ones in the straw. So I guess our Dollar No Ball team is about to snowball the match as they did in the last round. And as you can see, they quickly invade and take over all of Cuttlefish's original ECs. They're like sort of having a large muckraker army wandering around. And yeah, I believe this game is going to go to Dollar No Ball, despite both teams voting a lot. And Cuttlefish actually had more votes, but Dollar No Ball is quickly catching up. And if we speed up the match, I believe it's just gonna end as we all expect. Yep.
Yeah. Interestingly, Dollar No Ball stops at 750 votes, but that's certainly still enough to win the game.
Why is it Dollar No Ball? Like, shouldn't it be Dollar Now Ball?
No,
You know?
Snowball, and then wait. I mean, snowball is a word in English, right? Nothing to do with this game, but like you just
Dollar and then it's Now Ball. It's like N-O-W. Anyway.
It's like it's tradition, okay?
Alright, we don't have to argue about this. It's fine. It's just like Barcode's disciple trying to argue about not having votes. I mean, what? Okay. Alright. Same as the previous 2 games, our Dollar No Ball team has taken over all the ECs, both neutral and enemy ones, and now they're snowballing the game with a giant army of muckrakers. So I actually believe like a lot of Cuttlefish's like muckrakers will never die. So if they had more votes, they would have won the game because Dollar No Ball's strategy doesn't sort of like try to annihilate the enemy team.
Right. So congratulations to Dollar No Ball. I'm sure. I think we're all happy that we'll be seeing them again in future rounds.
Really love this bias commenting. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay.
Right.
Raw versus Alwio. I don't know how to pronounce either of these team names. If anyone from these teams are like watching and I'm butchering the team name, my deepest apologies. Well, it looks like Ra is sending a small, ambitious politician to quickly discover the enemy's base. Although they didn't do anything about it, they now know where the enemy are, so they can like probably approximately estimate like the map's dimensions and stuff by this point. Um, I believe Ra has also found the center ECs, and they sent a few politicians over to empower around it, which didn't actually take over the EC, so it made it actually easier for Awiov to take over them. So this is like once again why we see some politicians that would just hover around neutral objectives and not empower until much later, because they want to ensure that they're strong enough to not be vulnerable to the enemy team once they've been taken over. Ra has built up a large army of politicians and slanderers in the corner. Not sure why the slanderers are blocking the politicians, because the politicians are kind of useless just sitting there. Oh, I like how this chain of slanderers is moving up. It's kind of funny to watch. Whilst Aoyov's army is much more kind of like randomly scattered. Yeah, Ra has taken over all of the neutral alignment centers that were originally in the lava river, and now they're heading towards Aoyov's base. How are you supposed to pronounce that? Don't forget to scream the exclamation.
That's about Rua. So
Okay.
yeah, and it's apparently pronounced Rua.
Okay, Gaurav, you got this.
No.
Alright, so now Ra has taken a commanding lead of the map, and I believe this will probably be their game. They've also have a lead in votes, although Awiov is not super far behind in that regard. But yeah, you can see how Awiov is always bidding like 11, whilst Ra was bidding like 200, which is, I don't know, man, why you bid so high? Wait, did we ever tell them what the enemy team bid? We didn't, right? Okay.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, we don't tell them in the engine though.
It's okay. They're too lazy to experiment. Yeah.
So yeah, we can see the bids here though. So influence is fairly even, and we can sort of see the bidding algorithms at work here. So yeah, I'm not sure how important bidding algorithms are when eventually it seems that a team is going to take a commanding lead in influence, and from that point on, it doesn't matter what happens as long as you vote, of course. So yeah, but right now influence is, well, it's going Awiov's way at the moment. But
Ra has found the neutral enlightenment centers, while I believe Awiov has not discovered them yet. However, we don't really see Ra like moving towards taking them at the current moment. Probably because they're busy fighting Awiov in the middle.
But Rua is catching up pretty fast in votes. Aviov stagnating at 512. And yeah.
Ruin has claimed the neutral enlightenment centers. Oh no, never mind. Now they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quickly snowballing. Rawing their way to victory. That was not very.
That was a nice comeback. So now on to the third game.
No internet.
So Aviov with an early lead in influence, powered by their 50 slanderers. Whoa.
Maybe this is the game.
Yeah.
Really? We just draw like having like an early exploration phase that Aoyov does not have. So once again, they've claimed neutral enlightenment center before Aoyov have even discovered it.
Right. And yeah, Rua being very organized in her standard replacement. And yep, that's game for Rua. So congratulations to Rua. You won. I'm sorry, I should really pronounce these exclamation marks better. But congratulations for winning 3-0. Your final score was 5-0. So
you have pi over squared? Pi over squared. Does anyone like to explain what that means? versus Young Pharaoh. Alright, this is actually in the losers bracket for the newbie tournament. Starting on the Flava map. Dude, I'm still waiting for the British flag map to show up. I want to see that map. I kind of trolled because I was making a British flag map and then I was like, yo, if I have like a vertical symmetry, then it's not going to be accurate, but whatever, it's close enough because I forgot that rotational symmetry was a thing. And I remember that the thing was like kind of too late because I can't change the symmetry without erasing the map in the map editor and I was too lazy to write code. So there's an inaccurate British flag map. Alright, so now back to the actual game. Seems like pi over squared has taken over four of the four neutral alignment centers. And they also have built up an influence lead. And yeah, now they've infiltrated Young Pharaoh's base. Okay, Nathan, you turned your camera on. Okay. So yeah, now Power Square has officially taken all alignment centers, and we once again see a team who like barely votes. They got 4 votes. That's pretty good. Although we can't really expect them to vote now, anyways, because they don't have any ECs. But if you speed up the match, I believe it's going to be over pretty soon. And yeah, first game goes to pi over squared. Now let's see if Young Pharaoh will vote more than like single digit bids this game. They are getting some votes in. They're now bidding 0 every game. I think they just gave up on voting. 0 and 1 every round. Yeah, pi over squared, building up the vote lead, building up the influence lead. Neither of them have really taken over any neutral alignment centers yet. I do see some of them attempting to empower near them, and it's kind of cool how like pi over squared is sending muckrakers around the neutral alignment center. It makes me think that they want to like surround it and then empower near it, so then like enemies can't even be close to it after they take over it. Except Young Pharaoh has been sending politicians that way and preventing them from actually encircling the alignment center. So a lot of fighting going on there. Finally, it's been taken over by pi over squared. We do see that seems like, okay, yeah, the top right one has also had a small fight start out near it. Bottom left one has also been discovered by both teams. See some politicians moving towards it, but not that many. The fight is still going on at around like the center bottom neutral alignment center, where yeah, Pyro Squared is being pretty aggressive with their current EC lead to move towards it. They've taken over it, and now Young Pharaoh is really put at a disadvantage as Pyro Squared has also accumulated 751 votes. So as long as they don't get annihilated, which likely will not be happening, yeah, it's not happening. Then yeah, the game once again goes over to Pyro Squared. Now no internet. Dude, where's the British flag map, man? That one is so dumb. We need to see some games on it. Alright. What is going on here? There are like 4 large neutral alignment centers that have been discovered by both teams, I believe. Except they haven't really been empowered around yet. Pi over squared starts with like a slander strategy. Wow, I think Young Pharaoh just doesn't build any slanders over the course of the game. They do have like muckrakers going around trying to seek out slanders or just explore. They have politicians, but I think sort of like the game meta that we've seen is like if you don't have any like slanders or income from slanders, then you're kind of like screwed. Although I think pi over squared stops building slanders around like mid game ish, so it hasn't been too bad on this specific regard for Young Pharaoh. Once again, the bidding strategy seems to really be pulling the difference out between the teams. Not biased at all, you know. But also the annihilation might be coming quick. So, yo, some of the ECs are still neutral. Not anymore. Okay, they got taken over. And yeah, once again. Oh, final score 4-1. Is that the first thing that we had that's 4-1 on stream? Yeah, I guess there's been some 4-1s in the bracket, but not on stream.
Right.
Alright.
Sorry, go on.
Blazes and better than random. Be economically friendly and not vote whatsoever. Ah, yes. They're trading with each other. They don't need to be voting. They're actually just two peacefully coexisting political parties not trying to annihilate each other.
Yeah, I'm surprised no team has discovered the bipartisanship feature yet. Still, influence is fairly even this game. Both teams remaining mostly confined to their own side of the map, although it seems like Better Than Random is starting to progress towards Blaze's side of the map. Blazes has actually ECs are entirely tied up, with Better Than Random having control of one of the ECs in the center, and Blazes having one in the bottom right. But it seems like a lot of the time these teams are just walking past the neutral ECs, which is questionable. Better Than Random has secured the needed number of votes to win, and yeah, so Better Than Random takes the first game on flowers. On to the second game on networking. So, wow, Blaze has got a commanding influence lead. I guess, yeah, Better Than Random just doesn't like slanderers too much, and that's generally a no-go, unless you really can get, I don't know, like, I guess like Java Ghost Hugs, Muckraker Flood Strategy, something like that. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Better Than Random has much going for them. Although, wait, what just happened? Influence just got a lot closer. Was it a buff? But either way, the game looks more interesting now, as Better Than Random has a lead in influence, has far higher income per team. Wait, Better Than Random's produced a bunch of slanderers. Okay, fair enough. And what does this mean for votes? Votes are interestingly still going both ways. Better Than Random bidding roughly in the 30s or 40s. But things might go, and we're approaching 1500. And Better Than Random has a commanding influence lead and looks like they'll have the time to catch up. Yep, they will catch up. So this game goes to Better Than Random, ultimately with a 200 votes lead. On to potentially the final game for Better Than Random.
Well, we have games where votes are actually the deciding factor and no one's close to dying.
Right, but my only disappointment is okay, Elizabeth's gone, but I'll still say it. So my only disappointment is even in those games, it's like one team gets a commanding influence lead. I wish there were games where the bidding strategy mattered more, but that's how life is. Better Than Random with a commanding influence lead, and that's really helping them get over the threshold easily in votes.
Dude, how troll would it be if next year we made a game where it kind of like helps the losing team? Like I've seen like actual games, like not like competitions, but like games where like
Yeah, it's like Mario Kart, right?
help the losing team a little bit to keep it like more even, you know?
Yeah, we should give like the losing team like red shells and stuff.
Yeah, or like just give them like some like extra influence game or whatever. And then it's like a pro strat to keep yourself like half losing. Yeah, but like you don't know. Just like it's just like very balance based thing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't think of it like a losing team buff, but like part of the specs. So maybe you'd want to lose on purpose. That's fine. It's part of the specs. But it would be nice, yeah.
Oh, purposely make the engine think you were losing. I mean, like it would be like some objective measure, like yo, you got like less influence or less units, or like your units are less powerful or something. Then we can market Battlecode as a party game. Yo, are we gonna expand to communities beyond nerds? Same as a muck buff. The muck buff isn't really to like the losing team per se. Like if your muckrakers are kind of like running around the map and infiltrating their base and finding their slanders, I wouldn't really call that you're losing. Oh, but you give it to the other team. Okay, yeah, that's kind of fair, I guess.
Yes. So meanwhile, we started a new match between Cuttlefish and another team, and Cuttlefish has taken the first game with commanding lead in votes, and yeah, just 14 units of the other teams remaining. Now on to game 2.
Alright, once again, we see slanders coming out. We like converge on meta where slanders are important. Bum does have a lot more muckrakers than Cuttlefish. Although Bum also has a lot more influence. Actually, not a lot more. I'm trolling. I'm looking at like how much influence their EC has versus like total influence. But yeah, Bum is also building up like a total influence lead. They've claimed that both teams has claimed neutral alignment centers. Ooh, Cuttlefish now has an EC lead by. Oh wow, that was a quick turn of events. I don't know. I think I blinked. Where Bum would have that, like an influence lead. They were even in ECs, and then suddenly everything went to Cuttlefish. Yeah, we see Bum did have like a pretty good voting game going. Although after they lost their ECs, there was nothing they could do about it. So yeah, I guess like preserving ECs is definitely the most important thing. What did I expect? Yeah, this game goes over to Cuttlefish again. On the third game of this round, once again, seeing both teams starting out, building a lot of slanders, trying to accumulate influence. Cuttlefish with the stronger voting game. Never mind. They're all bidding like very low amount, so I feel like they're not actually like losing that much, even if they don't get a vote, you know. So voting doesn't actually make you lose that much, haha, or so I say. Yeah, Bumbo like caught up on votes and now has like a large voting lead. They have like equal EC control. Never mind, not anymore. And okay, yeah, this game snowballed pretty quickly. Yeah, it seems like Bum really likes building armies of muckrakers around their ECs just to protect it, which is like a pretty good strat. So now the match score is 1-2, and we'll see if their normal trends will help them on this very simple star map. Wait, why is the tile? Oh my goodness, the tile cutoff is not what I think it is. That's confusing. Okay. Yeah, Bum quickly takes the center EC. They're also swarming Cuttlefish's EC in the bottom right corner. So I feel like, is this going to be a reverse sweep? Is this going to be a reverse sweep? Or at least it's going to go 2-2, so we'll have a game 5 to see what happens.
Yeah, that muckraker block strategy was really effective on this small map. Yeah.
Yeah, can't do anything.
Oh.
Quickly expanding.
Look at their influence graph. Looks kind of income.
Dude, that is pretty funny, dude.
Right, so this is going to go to game 5 now, right?
Yep.
All
now
right.
Game 5. Ah, a very strong EC base.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to swarm the other 3, the blue ECs with muckrakers. Although wait, no, the opposite. It's going to be hard for Bum to swarm the other team with muckrakers, given that their ECs are in low passability regions. Oh wow, Bum with a huge buff.
But Cuttlefish does have an EC lead, as they discovered the top EC's quicker. But we do see that Bum sort of has like a stronger base hold.
Yeah, and Bum's managing to neutralize that EC in the top right-ish area.
Yeah, can't do anything. Yo, this like muckraker swarm strategy is actually like pretty smart. Yeah, Bum also has like a larger buff, although Cuttlefish still holds on to a slight influence advantage.
Yeah.
Ah, Cuttlefish has managed to break through the Muckraker swarm, and now I believe, despite holding on for so long, Bum Bum might pronounce this. So very close to a reverse sweep, unless we see some spicy action here.
That's not out of the question, but yeah, it's looking less and likely as Cuttlefish's influence approaches the 50,000s. I mean, what? I mean, no, it's like in the 50,000. And yeah, so this looks like Cuttlefish, yeah, taking it away in influence and therefore gaining the requisite votes to win the game. All right, so that was nearly a reverse sweep. So very good job to Pum Pum, but Cuttlefish reigns supreme in which round is this? The
Raw versus better than random. On the Yoda map, we still haven't seen some of the maps. I give up. This is still one of the.
I mean, when we're in the same round, it's like the exact same set of maps are always used, right? So
Oh yeah. I'm confused now.
yeah.
Actually,
I'm not sure if we should change that to be like a random map for each game. Then it's like it's a different set of maps for different games in the same round. But is that so important? And competitors could see a much greater variety of maps that way.
I'm trying to update the challenge. Do I know how to do challenge things?
So Ra doing very well at the moment, flooding the map. So yeah, looks like on this large open map, Rod wins on votes.
Wait, so what happened? Cuttlefish versus Bumble? Was it 2, 3? 3 to Cuttlefish. And
Yeah, that's right. All right, two very close by ECs in the center, as has been the case on this map for a long time. And they both go to Rua.
Wait, what was the score for better than random versus Blazes?
I don't remember.
Alright. My publishing scores has failed.
Right. Yeah, looks like Ra's taking commanding leads over better than random in these games. Now we're on to a much smaller map. Let's see if that changes the dynamic. Not appreciably, as Rua takes again a lead in influence with a nice stash of slanderers in the corner. Will better than random be able to send some muckrakers to investigate? So yeah, better than random has an interesting strategy with slanderers. They seem to release them more in the mid game. But yeah, Rua's income is spiking and influence is rising. And yeah, looks like this will be a sweep 3-0 to Rua.
Yo, that top left influence percentage just wasn't doing anything. Kind of confused. Dang, okay. Raw wins 4-1.
Now we have pi over squared, whose name's origins we still have not been able to find out, versus cuttlefish. Influence fairly even at the moment. Both teams attempting to explore the map. Looks like pi over squared has been able to. Oh wow! Pi over squared sweeps in on those two ECs in the bottom right, and now has a 7-1 advantage. And looks like that's going to dictate the rest of the game, as pi over squared wins the first game in this matchup. Right. Some action going on in this between these two ECs here. Both of whose influences is in the single digits, but Cuttlefish manages to take pi over squared EC, but pi over squared a straight politician of pi over squared manages to take it back. And overall, Cuttlefish has a 2 EC lead, taking now taking control of both of these ECs in the center, as well as the one in the bottom left.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cuttlefish might be able to snowball this one with the. Actually, they're both infiltrating the 6 EC clump at the top now. Although Cuttlefish still has the EC lead, given that they took over both ECs and the noses. Yeah, the top is still fairly even.
Yeah. I feel like the big difference here is Cuttlefish's huge
Yeah,
start. Yeah.
their Slander army is really yep. And then, as we sort of expected, the influence lead and the Slander army ultimately gave it to Cuttlefish. So now we're 1-1. Now we see what, if anything, is gonna happen on this small map. If they can hold out for a long time. Alright, see Cuttlefish taking over a lot of the neutral ECs. High Square does have the influence lead though, and now they have a Muckraker army, and now they're quickly taking it back. I do think like early influence, early econ is like pretty important. Which I guess is like hard to decide whether you want to build Slanders or try to find ECs and take over them. So yeah, this game is going over to Pi over squared. Oh, so yeah, so now we're kind of like manually publishing results onto challenge, and the replay links will be added in there shortly later. But for now, you can just see the results. Oh wow, Cuttlefish's Muckrakers found Pi over Squared's base very quickly. Although I guess they aren't able to do much. And Cuttlefish, did Cuttlefish have the econ lead last time? Last time it was Pi over Square with the large influence, right? I do not remember. But seems like both of them are still staying at 1 EC, although Pi over Squared has found all the ECs, sort of, and Cuttlefish has not.
It's not clear whether Cuttlefish is going to be able to hold on. They don't seem to have as much map control, but they do have an EC lead and an influence lead.
The,
Yeah.
hmm,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. What's happening here? Look, Cuttlefish's votes have stopped. Wow, that was a
Yo, Pi over Square had like a huge buff for a while.
but it wasn't enough. Cuttlefish takes us to a deciding game. Thanks
It's
to
so close. They were.
yeah, a good performance at the ballot box or like the bidding of other people to vote. Well,
Yo, they won by votes despite almost getting annihilated.
right. So now it's a deciding game on randomized. It's a pity better than random hasn't been able to play on this match, this map. But
Maybe they did in the earlier rounds. We can check if this map showed up in the earlier one.
influence very even at the moment. Both teams opting to produce relatively few slanderers and 4 ECs apiece. However, Square producing a few politicians that are investigating territory, and they've been able to gain pi over squared an extra EC.
You know, their vote count is also growing very quickly.
Very good. Yeah.
There's still neutral and light heaven centers to be taken. There's some action going on. You see Pi over Square quickly fighting, quickly taking over that, and
And Pyro Squared has secured 750 fun votes. So it doesn't look like they're going to get annihilated. So
yeah, congratulations to Pi over Square for winning this round 3-2.
yep. And good job to Cuttlefish for pushing this to 5 games. All right. Now we have this team versus this team.
Oculus, yeah. So this is the quarterfinals of the game where so it's like round 4 of the winners bracket. So it starts off in this EC centric map. I actually like this map a lot more than I thought I would. Like now I'm like seeing that this like strong base holding strats and stuff is like pretty fun to watch. They do each take 2 of the neutral ECs from the top half of the map. We do see that this team has seems to be has infiltrated, Oculus's base a lot more than the other way around. And now this team has definitely built up an influence and EC lead. Although Oculus still has like a large vote lead, so if they can just hold on for longer, then maybe they will win the game. But it's looking a little grim for them because this team does take over all 4 of the neutral ECs in the top half of the map, or they were no longer neutral. Just took them over from Oculus. And now Oculus's base is under siege. Oh, look at that army of politicians. Okay. Yeah, goes over to this team.
Okay. On to Star. Influence fairly evenly matched. Oculus has been able to secure 2 extra ECs, now 3 extra ECs. So this team's pathfinding letting it down, but will it be able to make up with a stream of politicians? Now 3-2 in ECs. Oculus has an influence lead. And it looks like Oculus has pretty strong map control at the moment. Will Oculus be able to take this center EC? It doesn't seem like this team is producing very strong politicians at the moment, or slanderers. The economy of both teams doesn't seem to be doing amazingly well at the moment. Oculus, in the meantime, is racking up votes. And yeah, it looks like the center EC of this team is just withstanding. Well, I guess there's not much apart from muckrakers being sent at it. Oculus has a 4-2 lead in ECs. Now commanding total influence lead. And looks like this is going to be tied up at 1-all.
I'm surprised that Oculus doesn't seem. Actually, no, they are. They are trying to kill it, so they do take this game, and now we're at 1-1 within the match. Networking this map again. Yeah, I do see both of these teams seem to be kind of like sending politicians to explore, which hasn't been the case for a lot of the other teams that explore with muckrakers. Probably because they don't want to send something that could be a liability, i.e., like can't be converted to the other team. We do see this team taking over neutral ECs faster than Oculus was, but they also have a very large buff going on right now because they found a lot of Oculus's slanderers, I'm supposing. And yeah, building up a large total influence lead, taking over Oculus's enlightenment centers. They are like behind in votes, but they're catching up very quickly. And I believe if everything goes as expected, then this team will win this match, this round in this match. I don't know. A match is like 5 games, right? That's how we're calling these things. Yeah, so now we go to Paper Windmill. Lots of neutral enlightenment centers for them to take. Yeah, okay, so it's like, yeah, both of these teams seems to have sent explorations in all directions, like pretty early on, which hasn't been true for some of the other teams that we've watched, where they would actually only send their like, they have some sort of like pathfinding algorithm that they kind of just go towards like some direction. Because I did see for this map some of the other games, the neutral enlightenment centers not on a windmill were like left undiscovered for a while, but for these 2 teams, they're like, nope, we're just gonna find them quickly, take them over quickly, and yeah, you can see fights going on in all 4 of the central enlightenment centers, but it's still been like fairly even until like now, where I think this team is building up an EC lead, although Oculus does still have a large total influence lead and a votes lead because of the enlightenment center on the top, at the very top. I believe that is why they have so much influence with all the slanders around it, despite only having 3 enlightenment centers. Ooh, look at them taking back the ECs. Yo, is this gonna be another game where it's just the votes, even though they're like not doing that great overall? Oh, and they have hit the 751.
Will they be able to annihilate? Look, it's only 1 politician on Oculus's side left.
Yo, if that politician lives, dude.
Wait, the politician empowered. Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, they were gonna win. Dude, this is greatest anime title of the century. Dude, I'm like convinced that. Wait, is that Oculus that did that?
Yeah, Oculus's last politician empowered.
I think they would have won the entire match if that politician just like chilled for like 20 more rounds. Yo, what is this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Oculus, if you ever see this, I don't know, man. Not the strat. Okay, so this is the only other match in round 4 of winners bracket, which is the quarterfinals of the newbie tournament. And so again, starting off with what I see in my dreams as the map. You see large green ogres building up a very large influence lead, although Dollar No Ball now has a very big buff compared to large green ogres like not having a buff, and thus it has allowed Dollar No Balls to take over the enlightenment centers very quickly. Although large green ogre still has like a large total influence lead along with like a vote lead, so we'll see what ends up happening with this. Seems like Dollar No Ball consistently has larger buffs. Not anymore. Wow, the buffs actually went down, but they still have like overwhelming EC control. They're catching up in votes and total influence due to their enlightenment center control. So, despite starting out with a very strong early game from large green ogres with their votes and their influence, whatever, it was done with a higher influence, right? I believe this game will probably go to Dollar No Balls.
Although Dollar Noble does stop at 750 votes, but there probably were games. In fact, even now, Large Green Ogre isn't voting every round, so it's not going to get tied up. But interestingly,
Yo, what is happening, dude? That is close, dude. You're supposed to stop at 751, but game does go to Dollar No Balls, and now we have the star map. Alright, the center ECs very quickly went over to Dollar No Ball. And along with all the sides, I think this game is just kind of over at this point. But I guess Dollar No Ball hasn't really been voting that much, which is sort of fair. They took over all the ECs though, and they quickly started voting. And yeah, this game does go over to Dollar No Balls as well. So that was 2-1, and I guess we got to see if large green ogres can pull a reverse sweep comeback. Currently, yeah, just like the previous rounds, large green ogre starts off with lots of slanders and very strong econ, while Dollar No Ball starts with an army of muckrakers that could put them at a good advantage once they discover enemy slanders and start exposing them. We do see large green ogres has taken over a neutral enlightenment center, or I think they both did. They both took over some neutral centers, but large green ogres does have the advantage here with 4 enlightenment centers to 2, a large total influence lead, a large vote lead. So I think everything is ready for them to take this match, this game. This game is what I meant to say. I do see the Muckraker Swarm strategy going towards Dollar No Balls enlightenment centers. So those enlightenment centers, other than voting, are effectively useless because they can't build anything. And yeah, large green ogres had a comeback, and now they're 1-2 in this match. Paper Windmill. Dollar No Ball, once again, starting off with aggressive exploration, while large green ogres has more of an econ farming strat in the early game. All of the enlightenment centers get discovered very quickly, and now they all have owners, masters, whatever. How do we call this? They have political affiliation. It seems like both teams. No, wait, no. It's just the large green ogres has a muckraker swarm strategy for enemy ECs. So despite Dollar No Ball having a lot of ECs, some of them are like effectively not doing anything. But because large green ogres has lost all their ECs, this game will also go over to Dollar No Ball. So yep, Dollar No Ball takes this match and moves on to the semifinals of the tournament. Playing out. Alright, so this is Oculus versus Pi over Square. So this is in the losers round 5, which is what is this? This is like the quarterfinals of the losers bracket? Question mark. Start on the Happy Boba map. We do see that it has very quickly went over to Oculus because of like the small map and the relative like ease of passing through terrain. Like there's no like large walls or anything to stop people from moving. So one of the Enlightenment centers actually ends up never being taken over, which is doesn't happen very often. Um, Now we're going to the second game. Okay, what is going on? Wow. Oculus.
Wait, yeah, where did pi over squared go?
I'm confused. Did Oculus just like take over their ECs like very quickly and no one took over the neutral one?
We're like here, and then goodbye.
It looks like they just invaded very quick, very early on. And pi over squared might not have built up a strong defense to be prepared for that. Ooh, it seems like pi over square has found the top ECs before Oculus has, although now they both sort of know that there's a swarm up there. I guess Oculus was working on fighting pi over square at the bottom half of the map, which is also very important despite a lot of neutral alignment centers being at the top. And now Oculus has once again. I do see that Oculus always tries to fight the enemy's ECs before trying to take over neutral ones, which is pretty creative. I haven't really seen that.
Okay, now large screen ogres versus Rua.
This is also in the losers round 5, which is quarterfinals.
I think there's four teams left in the losers bracket.
Yeah, but it's quarterfinals because the winners bracket will be sending people over.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
The Boba map, we do see that Ra is trying to have a Slander army, but that quickly gets exposed. And I just good positioning on that part. And Large Green Ogres does quickly. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Large Green Ogres quickly takes the match. The game, not the match. No internet again. Let's see. Yeah, I do see Raw sending a lot of politicians to explore, which is a pretty interesting strategy because a lot of other games, I don't know, seems like people like sending muckrakers to explore, so there's like not much at stake. Like Green Ogres once again with their early Slander farming strategy, building up a very strong econ and able to take over some neutral enlightenment centers. Yeah, the votes are pretty close. Seems like both teams have been trying to bid like pretty much every round. Yeah, they've both been trying to bid every round, but I don't really see Raw adjusting their bidding strategy. It's still always at like pretty low numbers, so Large Green Ogres has been taking a lot of the votes. They've also been taking control of the map, and now as we can clearly see, even though the EC counts are still even, I believe Large Green Ogres do have a very large advantage here, and this game will probably go towards them as they take over more and more ECs. Yep. Now the third game onto this tiger map. Once again, yeah, we were kind of mean, so we put two ECs like really close to each other on the opposing teams. And looks like Raw is able to take over one of the enemy's EC quickly, but they lost both of their other two ECs, even though they have the bottom center of the map under their control. Large Green Ogres once again has a huge influence lead with their early Slander strategy that's really been paying off. And they've also found the top half of the map as they explore, while Raw has been confined to sort of like the node section of the map. And I believe very quickly we'll see this entire match is going over to Large Green Ogres. And yep, there's only one EC on the blue team left. Rip. Raw, you had a great hurrah. Raw had a good hurrah.
Yeah, looks like Large Green Ogres, Rua's plans. Okay, anyway. Next, we have Large Green Ogres versus Oculus in the final match in the losers bracket.
It's actually semifinals because whoever wins this is gonna
play again.
On one from the winners bracket, but Star again. Wait, did Jerry just like leave out some of the maps and like try to wait for it for the final tournament or something?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm so confused why I wish we had more map variation. But yeah,
There
maybe,
are more maps that I haven't seen yet, but I don't
but
know
not
which
for these. I know, but for these rounds, maybe only these maps were assigned, unfortunately.
dude. Where is the
I
map?
mean, they'd be nice maps, but it's gotten a bit repetitive.
Okay, it's okay. You can
Yeah.
see competitive strategies. It's okay. I'll figure out where those maps are. In any case, there's gonna be a very beautiful map in the final tournament. No spoilers.
So Large King Ogres takes this game command easily. So we'll see what happens in this game. Who's going to come out of the losers bracket and play in the finals? Large Green Ogres starts off with an influence lead. Large Green Ogres also has an advantage of two ECs, taking the bottom right and the EC in the middle left top. Yeah, Large Green Ogres really building on that influence lead now and infiltrating. Yeah, although, yeah, Orcus was able to threaten this EC for a little bit, but that was short lived. Now, will Large Green Ogres take over these ECs in the bottom left? Certainly seems like they're going to be able to do so, sending politicians slowly but surely, and that influence lead is going to take them over the top. 2-0 to Large Green Ogres. On to game 3. Influence starts off fairly evenly matched, but again, Large Green Ogres coming out of the gates a bit faster thanks to more Slanderers, and ECs are evenly matched at the moment. But again, it's the same old story as the previous two games, seemingly. Large Green Ogres takes an influence lead. Oculus isn't quite able to catch up. Although Oculus now does have an EC extra. It's 4 ECs apiece. Large Green Ogres has the lead in votes, but influence is fairly comparable. Oculus does seem to have more map control or similar map control, taking control of this bottom right region here.
We have more ECs, but Large
Yeah.
Green Ogre does have the vote and influence lead.
And also now the ECs.
Alright, never mind.
Again, it's just the early econ. Although, yeah, and then
Oh, look at the vote spiking up from
yeah, but
Oculus.
Large Green Ogres has
Already hit
yeah,
751.
precisely.
Tragedy.
Yeah, so Large Green Ogres wins 3-0. Okay, this
The end
team versus Snowball.
final.
Which match is this? This is the this
Semifinal.
determines yeah. So this determines who's going to face Large Green Ogres.
Wait, what was the final score for Large Green Ogre?
3-0. 3-3.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. There was a two.
But that's interesting because it looked like Large Green Ogres was winning those comfortably. All right, total influence fairly even between this team and Dollar No Ball. This team suddenly gaining a huge jump in influence. Not sure how that came about. And now this team seems to have total control over the economy. Still 2 ECs each, so yeah, this team has a way more slanders than Dollar No Ball, way more politicians, whereas Dollar No Ball seems to have gone a bit heavy on the muckrakers, which don't seem to be pathfinding very well on this map. They're spilling out into the low passability regions instead of following these trails. And indeed, this team now controls 4 of the 6 ECs. One neutral left to be discovered, but it's unlikely to save Dollar No Ball from
unfortunate.
losing this match. Yeah. All right, on to game 2.
You're welcome, Mason Bindu. Dollar No Ball, indeed. Happy Boba.
All right. Dollar No Ball with the influence lead this time, but again, and Slanderer's income is pretty even, but in fact, yeah, it's very even now. Dollar No Ball starting to vote first, and Dollar No Ball with advantage in ECs.
Yo,
On the map, we see
the combat.
roughly left and right split, except Dollar Noble has a couple in enemy territory as well. And of course, Dollar Noble's muckrakers are having fun in the corners.
The very large politician from
Yeah.
this. Actually, they have two like big politicians.
Yeah.
Other than that, they don't seem to have much attacking power.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Dollar Noble's strategy is like mostly geared towards exposing enemy slanderers or like flooding the map, because they are exploring the edges, potentially looking for hidden slanderers. But Dollar Nobles does seem to have won this game. Although, yeah, if this team could just like, of course it can't know, but if it just votes every single time, it would get a guaranteed win because Dollar Noble stop at 750.
But it's not like guaranteed win, right? Because they both have 750.
Oh yeah, you have a good point.
And then it goes to tie breaks.
But they just have to win one vote against Dollar Noble, I guess. Or no, they wouldn't. I'm stupid. Yeah, so yeah, it would be tie 750. Um, this team this time with the influence advantage. 4-3 in ECs to this team. One neutral left to discover, and that goes to Dollar Noble. But meanwhile, Dollar Noble's been losing a lot of its other ECs. 6-2 to this team.
Yeah, I think Dollar Noble's strategy is kind of like hit or miss because they don't really seem to be creating any slanders. So they don't really have like sustainable econ on their own. So their goal has to be kind of like, I don't know, what's the right word for it? You just like run at them and then try to kill them or find ECs to take over. So yeah, this team takes that game, and now we go on to the fourth game of the match. Actually, they do start with some slanders. They just not very like Dollar Noble. They just haven't really been creating much slanders later on in the game.
Yeah.
Although they're like sort of like just.
But Dollar Noble gaining a huge buff, and after fighting this team slanderers. So looks like their no slanderer strategy has worked out okay so far.
Yep, we do see a lot of muckrakers flooding the map. They have Dollar Noble with like the EC advantage, influence advantage, boss advantage. Also with a large number of muckrakers flooding everywhere. So it's that this team can't really do much about it at this point.
All right.
Yeah, it looks like teams ECs are all stuck. They can't really do anything. It's just like muckrakers flooding.
Well, this will go to a decider. Let's slow down.
5, exciting.
This team with a slight lead in influence. Both teams just exploring out from their corners.
I think both teams refrain from voting until later on in the game. So
right.
It's like if you get that,
this team sending out some exploratory politicians. Dollar Noble using their preferred troop of choice, or their preferred troop, the Muckraker. This team with some very beefy slanderers in their corner. Unless, like in the previous game, Dollar Noble is able to expose them. This might give this team total control over the economy. And yeah, Dollar Noble's muckrakers are nowhere to be seen in the top left. This team's starting to vote.
I've been trying to see the muckrakers walk towards that direction, and it seems like every time this team will send out a politician to just kill it before it finds the slander. Unfortunate, but it's been a close round, and ultimately this team wins 3-2. Now this team is going to the finals, and Dollar Noble has been kicked to the losers bracket. So this is the final match in the losers bracket, and whoever wins this will go back against this team in the actual final round of the tournament.
Right, so Dollar Noble has another chance, but Large Green Ogres has proved pretty formidable. Large Green Ogres. Dollar Noble does produce some slanderers, but I'm not sure how beefy they are. Not very. You have Large Green Ogres with a huge, relatively speaking, stash of slanderers that's giving it an advantage in the economy. Dollar Noble gaining a huge buff and now has the lead in the economy. In fact, Dollar Noble has all ADCs. That happened very fast, and it was only a buff of 3. But yeah, what's happened here? Sorry, let's rewind.
You playing
So
it on like speed?
wait, I gotta pause here. So Dollar Noble has 8 ECs, but some of them are surrounded by Large Green Ogre's Muckrakers. But Large Green Ogres isn't able to gain any more influence now. So the game will go to Dollar Noble. That was interesting. I sort of missed what happened in mid game, but we see the classic end game for Dollar Noble, flooding everything with Slanders. And that's game to Dollar Noble. All right. 1-0 to Dollar Noble.
Flowers. Once again, Large Green Ogre is building up their Slanders so they can take an early lead in the econ, while Dollar Noble and their preferred choice of troops, Muckrakers. Ooh, I do see a Muckraker inching close to the Slanders, but quickly gets destroyed by a politician. That's a pretty good strat to have Slanders sort of like close to your EC and then kind of like politicians farther out so they can like kill any Muckrakers that start wandering towards their Slanders. We see Dollar Noble finding the 2 enlightenment centers at the corners of the map. Wow, it doesn't seem that Large Green Ogres. Actually, their Muckrakers are moving towards there, so maybe they have discovered those as well. Yeah, so they now have an equal control of enlightenment centers, although I wonder if the center ECs are more important by any means, given that it's like so much easier to send troops to all directions of the map starting from there. Dollar Noble does take all of the ECs in the lava river at this point, so they also start invading Large Green Ogre's base. So I believe this game, despite Large Green Ogre still having a large influence lead, might be over for them. Yep, Dollar Noble hit their 750 votes and stopped voting, and game goes over to Dollar Noble again. Third game of the match. Let's see if it decides the results of the match, or if we'll be seeing some game 4 and game 5. Again, Large Green Ogres, lots of Slanders, Econ lead, Dollar Noble. They both have been like, Dollar Noble gaining a large buff spike, really helping them take control of the top enlightenment centers. However, we still see that Large Green Ogre has they still have a very big econ lead, so wondering if their politicians will be able to do anything with that. They're trying to fight over the ECs on the top, but it's just coming a little bit short. They're losing one of the ECs in their base, and yeah, like Dollar Noble's Muckraker flood strategy is really working out. Although we do see that Large Green Ogres has sort of flooded Dollar Noble's base with Muckrakers, so those ECs aren't really doing much. Actually, this is happening to like most of their ECs. It's kind of funny, dude. Like most of the ECs can't really do anything because they're surrounded by Muckrakers that just don't move. Anyways, Dollar Noble hits the ECs can still vote, so Dollar Noble hits the 750 votes, and despite neither of the teams getting annihilated, Dollar Noble is gonna win solely by the votes, I believe. Yeah, pretty close. And yeah, is that it for today? I believe
That's it for today. So Dollar Noble will advance to the finals to play
against this team, which is who they just played before getting kicked out of the winners bracket. I wonder if a change of maps is going to. Yeah, it was close too. It was 3-2 when they lost from the winners from the semifinals. So I wonder if it's going to swing the other way around in the actual finals.
Right.
Guess we'll find out on Saturday. All right. So I think that concludes our stream for today. Thanks for watching, guys. I think me and Gaurav might have had a little bit too much fun flaming certain strategies. We're not biased, we promise. Hope to see you guys on Saturday. Peace.